Jesus.
Hare Krishna, Vanita Ganavika
Nikita
Mataji, please
Mataji, welcome.
Hare Krishna, Vanita Ganavika Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Guru and Guranga ki jai. Thank you so much for joining and giving a wonderful and beautiful association this morning. Hare Krishna, Vanita Ganavika
Nikita
Mataji,
Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dhanvat Pranams, all glories to Srila Prabhupada and the assembled devotees. This is Revati from Atlanta, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Revati Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Guru and Guranga ki jai. Thank you so much for joining and giving a wonderful and beautiful association this morning. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Shivani Mataji, Dandavat Pranam to you and all Vaishnavas. Srila Prabhupada, Srila Gurudev ki jai, Vrinda.
Hare Krishna, Vrinda Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru and Guranga ki jai. Thank you so much for joining and giving a beautiful and wonderful association this morning. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Shivani Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. This is Anita Ramya from Sharjah. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Anita Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru and Guranga ki jai. Thank you so much for joining and giving a wonderful and beautiful association this morning. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji's Dandavat Pranam. More glories to Srila Prabhupada, Guru Maharaj and all the assembled Vaishnavas. This is Kirti dasi.
Hare Krishna, Kirti Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. Thank you for joining this morning. Thank you for joining and giving a wonderful association this morning. Welcome back. Very happy to have you on the call. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dhanvat Pranam. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Good Maharajas. This is Sitapriti Devi dasi from Pune.
Hare Krishna, Sitapriti Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru and Guranga ki jai. Looking forward to hearing from you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Welcome.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Shivani Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and all the assembled devotees. This is Indulekha Karna Devi dasi from Lincoln.
Hare Krishna, Indulekha Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru and Guranga ki jai. Thank you so much for joining and giving a wonderful and beautiful association this morning. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Once again, I welcome you all for joining this mid-morning session in Bhakti Sangha Japa conference call. I would like to start by sharing a quote by Srila Prabhupada ji. We are not enemies of machines. If they can be used for Krishna service, then we welcome them. Letter to Kirti Ananda, December 8, 1968. Good morning, dear devotees. Once again, I welcome you all to Bhakti Sangha Japa conference call. Today, we are very fortunate to have Her Grace Sitapriti Mataji. Mataji will be enlightening us on summation from Bhagavad Gita, chapter 5. Hare Krishna, please accept my humble obeisances. Sitapriti Mataji, thank you for your valuable time and wonderful association this morning. Waiting eagerly to hear from you, Mataji. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Guru and Guranga ki jai. Please take up.
Mataji will give introduction.
Sorry.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mataji. Welcome everybody to this most wonderful series on Srimad Bhagavad Gita. So today we'll be having a summary of chapter 5, and it's my honor to introduce our today's speaker, Her Grace Sitapriti Mataji. Her Grace Sitapriti Devi dasi is a disciple of Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj. She and her husband came to Krishna consciousness through a home program in Detroit in 2017. Mataji is a very sincere, hardworking, and multi-talented devotee, and she manages multiple services like cooking, deity dressing, deity clothes stitching, and several other services when she was in Dallas and Detroit. In Bhakti Sangha, she is our coordinator teacher, and she's one of the most popular teachers for the Govinda kids. She helps with scheduling and content development for the classes, and she conducts her Friday Bhagavad Gita classes for kids for all ages, which is also very highly appreciated by all the children. She sends announcements for all the mid-morning classes on Bhakti Sangha, and now she has moved to Pune, and she still continues to do her services from India as well. She has never missed her service, and she is very, very driven towards accomplishing very nice tasks in Bhakti Sangha, and she does a lot of services. She is known for her amazing cooking skills, and she was the one who started the Jagannath Kitchen group for Bhakti Sangha. And in case you are all not a part of that group, let us know. We will send you an invite and you can join us. And owing to her amazing teaching skills, currently she had been working as a teacher in reputed schools when she was in the US and also in India. And she's also very popularly conducting many catering services in India. So we're very fortunate to have a multi-talented person teaching us Bhagavad Gita today. So along with kids, we are also here to listen to the overview of chapter 5 of Bhagavad Gita. Thank you so much, Sitapriti Mataji. You can now take over. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji, for this introduction, though I know I'm not eligible for any. I'm just trying my best. So please pray that I can repeat Srila Prabhupada's words in his mood and try to make myself understand basically what is the summary of the 5th chapter, so that we can move ahead to the devotional service, which Srila Prabhupada has explained, what Lord Krishna has explained to Arjuna. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Shrimati Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj Iti Namini Prabhupada Sahitya Ve Prakash Vitariya Cha Pracharam Gudun Bhagavad Padayate Namo Vedanta Samati Namini Namaste Saraswati Gauravani Pracharini निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात देश तारिणी जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. Hare Krishna, everyone. Thank you so much, Bhakti Sangha and all the coordinators and everyone for giving me this opportunity to study chapter 5th and present you the summary. And please feel free to stop me anytime, anywhere you feel that it needs explanation, and if you can add on. And I'm trying my best to just speak like a parrot what Srila Prabhupada has explained over here. So please excuse me if I miss out something or if I go wrong somewhere. Please feel free to correct me. Hare Krishna. I'll just share this slide so that we can move ahead first and then. Am I audible to everyone?
Yes, Mataji.
So as we as we are doing our summaries for Bhagavad Gita, so we are on the 5th chapter now. And before we move on to the 5th chapter, we'll just a quick review of the 4th chapter or a quick understanding about what the continuity of our learning is. So over here in the as we have come to far till chapter 5th, till 4th chapter when we came, Lord Krishna is making Arjuna understand what his real duty is and what he should be exactly working in. And we've seen that Arjuna is bewildered. First he was bewildered, then the Lord made him understand about the soul and how the material body is and what exactly he should be concentrating on. So now when Lord is explaining him about in the last chapter, then the third chapter about Karma Yoga, then he explained about the transcendental knowledge. At one point at the end, like at the end of the fourth chapter, we see that the verses 41 and 42, which are there, it is that at that point, Arjuna gets a bit confused. He gets a bit bewildered. And so if we move ahead, like to just give a glimpses, that the second chapter deals with the knowledge of the soul and the material body and how the Buddhi Yoga works. And in the third chapter, it is explained that how the person is moves on to the platform of knowledge. So then he no longer has any duties to perform. So it is moving in a very smooth fashion where Lord Krishna is making. It's basically, as the Bhagavad Gita we know, it's a question and answer form. Like Arjuna has questions and Lord Krishna is making him understand or is answering to his queries. So then in the fourth chapter, we come at a point where Lord tells him about all the sacrifices which can be done in the path of knowledge. And at one point, Lord says that it is important to work both in work and devotion and in action in knowledge. This is one part where that is the verse 41 and 42, where we come at the end of the fourth chapter. Now when this part comes up, Arjuna is a little bit bewildered. He says that, Krishna, you are saying me to seize all the actions, and at the same time you are saying, come on, get up and fight. So now, like, how can I do both of the thing? Like, how that is a point of bewilderment, or that is a point of confusion for Krishna. And that is where the Karma Yoga, that is action in Krishna consciousness. So we have seen the Karma Yoga part in the third chapter. So now how can a person be in action in Krishna consciousness? So as we know, like we say that, okay, that when we are in bhakti, like everybody says, oh, you're in bhakti, so now you're no longer doing some things. So like in the kids classes, we tell the kids, like, how will you remember Krishna? Like, are you going to just sit down and not go to school and just go on, keep on chanting? Is that the way that you're doing bhakti? But no, over here, Krishna tells us how through your actions, how through your deeds, you can be in action, and at the same time, you can move ahead in your devotional path. So as we move ahead, we'll exactly get a clear idea of what the Lord is trying to explain Arjuna. So Krishna tells over here that first is the Arjuna Vacha. First was the question by Arjuna. So now in the second verse, Lord Krishna is explaining. He says that the renunciation of work and work in devotion are both good for liberation. But of the two, work in devotional service is better than renunciation of work. Now over here, when the verse says, Shri Bhagavan Uvacha, Sannyasa Karma Yogascha Nishreyasha Karvabhu Tayostu Karma Sannyasat Karma Yoga Vishishyate. So then when it is like Karma Sannyasat, so then that is like the renunciation. So Arjuna over here understands that, okay, that means is it sannyasa that I have to take and I have to renounce all the work? And then Krishna explains over here that it is not that you have to renunciate, but you have to do the renunciation of work and work in devotion. And these both are good. But out of that both, work in devotion is what I want you to do. And over here, as we know that we are following the footsteps of the Lord, or we are following the war of Mahabharata also was the will of the Lord, right? So over here, whatever the Lord is saying, each and everything has a particular meaning in this. So renunciation of the work, which is important. Now, Srila Prabhupada over here in the explanation has mentioned in the purport about the 5th canto, 5th chapter, and the 4th to 6th verse. I'll just read the translation quickly so that we can move. When a person considers sense gratification the aim of life, he certainly becomes mad after the materialistic living and engages in all kinds of sinful activities. He does not know that due to this past misdeeds, he has already received a body, which although temporary is the cause of the miseries. So this we are going to see in the further part. So human body which we have received is due to our past karma. Okay, as we move ahead. Yeah. So action in the Krishna consciousness, that work and detachment, you do not have to be attached to the work. That is where we all go wrong. That the karma kandis, they will do the work and then they will also expect the results of the work. So over here Krishna is saying that due to our past karmas, our past deeds, what we have done, that we have got this body. Like just an example of the, as what we think at the end of the life, we are going to sow the seeds for that birth. Like suppose, and but again at the same time, what was our karma, what our deeds were at the last, in the earlier life, according to that we are going to get the next life. For example, like if you say that like at the end of the life, suppose I say, you know what, I want to live in a big house, I want to live in a mansion, but my karma, my deeds were not such that I can get into a human life also. I was so bad. What will happen? But my last wish was that I have to live in a big mansion. So because of my past deeds, I will get a life of maybe an animal, maybe a dog, a cat, or maybe just a squirrel, or maybe just a cockroach, and I will go into a big mansion. So the Lord, what he does is he's going to sanction everything. We'll come to that in the further slides. The Lord will sanction everything, but everything will depend upon what type of karma or what type of deeds we had in our earlier life. And the basic thing is that we should try to avoid everything and every act, so that we do not again get this material body and again do not fall into the cycle of birth and death. So the present body which we have is the result of the fruitive activities of the past karma. So that also plays a very important role. So once we get the identity of what we are, that we are not this body, and we are the soul and we are not the body, and that becomes a self-realized person, or that person then slowly moves to the path of, or the platform of knowledge. So for that, what is important? So first step, as we go stepwise, this the Bhagavad Gita is so beautifully, it is, the flow is that what is the first step in this is that you have to purify our heart. And for that, Krishna consciousness or the bhakti process is going to be very, very useful. So first step is that you have to purify your heart, and only then after that what happens is your activities, your acts go in sync with the Krishna consciousness, or in sync with the, as the wish of the Lord. If what happens is, like if we do not purify our heart, and I say I want to do renunciation, I'm going to renounce everything, and our heart is still of all the desires which we have, like suppose I say that, you know what, I'm going to sit on the roof of my house and I'm going to do the chanting, or I'm going to just renounce everything, I do not want to do anything. But at the same time I have, like I'm going to only eat this and only eat that, but the desires within my heart know, okay, I love pizza, I love pakoda, those desires are still there in my heart. What about them? If they are not purified, at some point in my process of going in that it is called as the falgu renunciation, or the uh, uh, falgu renunciation it is called. So that, like, if you are not yet out of it, you are not purified your heart, and then you're not purified of your desires, and then you are going into renunciation, that is going to revert back. You are again going to fall back and again going to start from square one. So this renunciation, so now it is said that, okay, then how to purify your heart? Desires are there. In one of the classes by His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj, he has quoted that the desires are going to be there. In the further again the verses, we come to that point, that because we are a soul, because we are in the human body, our desires and our senses are still there. They are not gone. That is the sign that we are living. That is the sign that the soul is in action. And the soul cannot stay calm. The soul has to be in action. So the desires are there. The senses are still working. So then how are we to control the senses, or how are we going to act in this? So it is explained that, or His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj had explained that desires are there. So the only way to purify your desires, purify your heart, is that you have to divert or deviate these desires in the service of the Lord. And that is the devotional service. That is how you are going to do the going for the karma yoga part. That means whatever is there, like suppose I say that, oh, you know what, no, I do not need to do any karma, I do not need to do any activity, I need to sit still at one place. That is not possible. You have to do something, right? But then you are afraid that if I do something, I'm going to again incur the deeds, and again that will give rise to the another material body. So I'm not going to you put flour in my head, I'm not going to eat fancy food, nothing. But then what happens, that supta ichha in your mind, in your heart, is still there. So it is explained that desires are going to be there. That is the sign of your soul being active. Only deviate in a different way. Like how the senses should be used in a proper way. Like you're offering a flower to the Lord, instead of you plucking the flower and smelling it and using it for your sense gratification, offer it to the Lord and then you use it. If you are cooking some meal, offer it to the Lord first. The everything belongs to the Lord. You are not the proprietor. You do not own anything. Once that becomes understandable for everybody of us, every one of us, then the further actions become very easy. Because if it does not belong to me, how can I be sad when it is gone? And that itself purifies your heart, or that itself, that desire itself goes away, that it is not mine, it is Krishna's. I'm just living as like your house. I cannot say come to my house. This is Lord's house and I'm living as a tenant in the house. Once that seeps in down, then your actions come into Krishna consciousness, and that is that you work into detachment. I do not have to okay, I'm earning money, I'm building a house. So you do not need to get detached over here, because this house further, I do not know whom it will belong to. So at the end of the life, it is not going to matter whether this house was mine or somebody else's. So that will be that I have to work. If I have to live, I have to work, but work with detachment. I'm not going to expect any results from it. So that is called a renunciation of the work. And over here, in one of the purports, it is mentioned about the karma sannyasi and the karma yoga. Like what is the difference between them both? So like what Srila Prabhupada explains over here is that you do not do the renunciation of the work. In our Indian constitution also, like it is the government of the people, government by the people. Those words are very important, like government of the people. But what it is, in reality, what happens, it is government OFF of the people, government by the people, by. But then how it is transformed by the politicians, government BUY, by the people. So those prepositions are very important. So over here also, it is not renunciation of work, it is renunciation in work. That in point is very important. So when it is renunciation in the work of it is that you are working but you are not expecting the results. You just work and you leave it to Krishna. Whatever happens, you cook and you give it to Krishna. So as the other people say that, oh, you're cooking, that means you are killing the plants also. So are you not acquiring sins out of it? No, I'm cooking it for the pleasure of the Lord. So Krishna will take care of it. So that is the renunciation in work. And performing your given work in the spirit of renunciation. So that is very important. Now, yeah, but not sannyasa of the karma, but sannyasa in karma. That is the meaning. When the word over here, sannyasa, was mentioned, that is what is explained over here. And as we explained that if we are not the doer, once we understand that I am not the doer, then the things become easy for to leave it away and to detach from it. And with like though you are doing it work, but still you're detached from the work. So that is action and inaction. Then it comes to the point that neither hate nor desire for the fruit of activities. And always you have to remember that Krishna is the whole and we are there, the part and parcel. So as we say that we are part of Krishna. So qualitatively we may be having the same things as Krishna, but quantitatively we are not. So one in quality but different in quantity. And this knowledge, as we proceed, this knowledge has to be is very important for us to understand. So and once this is there, so if you do not have any duality in your mind, and then if you are doing everything for the pleasure of the Lord, then there are no dualities, or then there are no doubts in this process. So then Krishna comes up to the words, the further verses, where he says that one who neither hates nor desires the fruit of his activities is known to be renunciate. So the first word which we coined over here in the 5th chapter was about the renunciation and the doer. Then when we move ahead, it is, I've written verse by verse, but I'll try to see that it is in continuity. So, now in the fifth verse, or as we move ahead, it is mentioned that one who knows the position reached by means of analytical study can also attain by devotional service, and who therefore sees analytical study and devotional study to be on the same level, sees things as they are. So, as we know, like any path which you are taking, now over here, as we have seen that Krishna is explaining the Jnana Yoga, the Karma Yoga, then the Bhakti Yoga. So what he's saying is that any path which we take, everybody is trying to go to self-realization. Everybody is trying to go to the liberation path. So whichever path you're taking, now living entity, yeah, so 1 second. Yeah. So in the Sankhya philosophy, it might look different. Okay. That one process involves detachment and another involves attachment. So it is detachment from the matter and attachment to Krishna. As I said that in one of the class where Maharaj had said that we have to see, like, the soul is this. Why fifth verse of this one point is very important over here is that the soul has to hold on to something. The soul has to do something. So if you are going to remove the material matter from it, it still needs something to hold on to. It still needs something to be engaged into. And that engagement is Krishna. So basically what you're doing, the activities are remaining same. That I am still taking a flower, but I'm not using it for myself. I'm using it for Krishna. So I'm removing the material sense enjoyment from there and I'm putting Krishna in picture. So that is what is important. So one process involves the detachment. So you do not have to detach and leave over there. Oh, and then later on some point of the life, you start feeling, oh, I did not enjoy this also. I did not enjoy that also. I could not even smell that flower. But why can't you do that? You offer it to the Lord, bring Lord in between, belong in the picture, bring Lord in the center of your house, and then everything will be around Krishna. And that is what Krishna is trying to explain over here, that you do not do anything, you do as I say, and I will take care of the rest. So both are one and the same. So as in the sixth verse, it is explained about the Vaishnava sannyasas, that is the Bhagavatam philosophy which we follow according to the Vedanta Sutra. And we are just not having any mental speculations of the Lord, but we are trying to engage our senses in the service of the Lord, so that the renunciation does not, we do not fall down from that process of renunciation. Then as we move ahead, it is a person in the divine consciousness, although engaged. Yeah. So yeah, we're moving to the 8th and the 9th verse now. A person in the a person in the divine consciousness, although engaged in seeing, hearing, touching, smelling, eating, moving, sleeping, breathing, always knows within himself that he actually does nothing at all. Because while speaking, evacuating, receiving, or opening or closing his eyes, he always knows that only the material senses are engaged with their object and that he is aloof of them. So then, once we understand that we are not the doer, everything is the Lord's wish, and we are doing according to his wish. And what is again the thing? Again, what Lord says, the Lord also says, I am not the doer. What he says, that I am just going to sanction your desires. See, over here, okay, according the renunciation part, we'll come back to this again. What does the Lord say? That I am not the doer. What he says, that it is that they were your desires. The Lord, we know the soul and the super soul, right? The parrot, the two birds which are sitting on the branch, and then the super soul is just witnessing all the actions which the soul is doing, and the Lord is not going to interfere in anywhere in between. So the soul has desires, the super soul sanctions it, and according to the modes of the material nature, it gets fulfilled. Like whatever your karmas are, what your past deeds are, according to that, it gets fulfilled, and the cycle will continue. And the Lord, everybody knows about the picture, right? We had the two birds sitting on the same branch. So the soul and the super soul. So the super soul is eagerly waiting that someday that this soul, this bird, someday it will turn to me, and then we'll ask, like, come back to Godhead. Like yesterday, I was I was going through Ayendra Prabhu's page, and in that it was mentioned how like they all went to a Sankirtan party for the whole day. And when they came back, they were tired, but then too there was still services in the temple, and they had to clean the temple, they had to do everything. And once though they were tired, they had blisters on their foot, though they did everything outside in the whole day, they came back, they did whatever chores were there for the temple, and again they started chanting, and again they started their sankirtan in the temple itself. They started their kirtan. And at one point, like Andhra Prabhu has mentioned in his in that para I heard, so it was maybe he was asked some questions and then he has answered that. So he could feel that at the top, and he could feel that they were stamping voice noises, and there were small boys running around, and it was that. And then he saw Krishna and Balaram, and they were all moving. And at one point, Krishna waits over there, and he looks at Indra Prabhu. And at that point where Prabhu thought that yes, Krishna is calling me, and Krishna is waiting for us to return. So this is the super soul is always witnessing us, and it is just waiting for that bird to turn around. But we as the soul are just engaged in all sorts of desires. We want to taste this, we want to try this, we want to visit this place, and we want to enjoy life. So it is not wrong, okay, enjoy. But if you are going to do it for the service, like suppose you're going somewhere, try to visit the temple over there, try to do some service at the temple, and then your desires are also fulfilled, but at the same time your work is in sync with your Krishna consciousness. So, okay, before we divert from the topic, we'll get back to it. Okay, so then once we understand that we are not the doer, we are just like working under the guidance of the Lord. And at some point we have to, so like the end destination, if we know, then everything gets easy, right? If we start some work and we know what are we entitled to, where are we exactly to go, only then the things become easy, right? So our final destination, moving back to Godhead, has to be very clear for all of us. So one who performs his duty without attachment, surrendering the results onto the Supreme Lord, is unaffected by the sinful actions, as the lotus leaf is untouched by water. Right? Okay. Where is the lotus leaf? Yeah. 1 second. Yeah. So as the lotus, we all know the example, right? The analogy which is given about the lotus leaf is that the lotus, the leaf, it is like, though it is in that water, it does not, like the water droplets, they come and they go. It does not get affected by the water which is present around it. So that the same way one has to perform the duty in the service of the Lord, do it and then surrender the service to the Lord. We do not get affected by what is exactly the results are, or what you are going to get the results. A Krishna conscious person is servant to all, and that is the reason he's dear to everyone. Like in the purport, the explanation which Srila Prabhupada has given is like you are basically you're giving pouring water at the root of the plant, and then from there everywhere, like in the 7th verse, what that explanation was given, the analogy was given, and from there the water is going to reach to each and every leaf and each and every tissue. So you do not need to worry about going and watering each and every part of the plant, or the supplement which we are eating through the stomach is going to naturally reach each and every tissue and cell of the body. So you do not need to, like if I'm hungry, I'm not going to feed the gulab jam to my hand. The hand is going to feed to the stomach, and then the stomach, through the stomach, it will reach everywhere. So that is what the mood of a person should be. So like a Krishna conscious person is a servant to all. He's dear to everyone, and because he's satisfied by his work, and that leads to the pure in his consciousness, and that leads to his mind being completely under his control, because he knows that whatever I'm doing, it is in service of the Lord, and his mind is always fixed in Krishna, and no chance of his being deviated from Krishna, because everything is done with controlled senses for the pleasure of the Lord. And Krishna consciousness person, once we understand that it is an eternal servitor of the Lord. So there are two consciousness, like sometimes we have material consciousness and Krishna consciousness. So what is material consciousness exactly explained in the 8th and the 9th verses is that senses which are engaged in sense gratification, like senses which are engaged to please myself. Whereas what the Lord is saying, that if you are into devotional part, if you are moving ahead through the karma, it is that the senses are engaged for the service of the Lord for the Krishna's Krishna's satisfaction. A person is free from any of the results because there is no engagement in that, and that is the reason why karma yoga is main emphasized over here. Yeah, and as Ishobnishad says, 14.3 says, and also the 14.3 Bhagavad Gita verse says that we are not the proprietors, everything belongs to Him. This material body is a gift by the Lord and it has to be in His service. Yeah. So now, as we move ahead, it is like one gets purified of material consciousness if one is in Krishna consciousness. So now how do we act in Krishna consciousness? It is that Krishna consciousness person, or why do we act over there? Why do we serve Krishna? Because Krishna consciousness person is liberated, though he is in this material world, which is very, very applicable for all of us. It will be like, though we are in the material world, still we are going on the path of this karma yoga. There is no false ego for a person who is following Krishna consciousness as written in the scriptures or as directed by the Lord. Does not believe he is the material body, and he knows that the body does not belong to him. That is the perfect stage of Krishna consciousness. Now again, as we further move, it is that then who attains peace? As we do in the 12th verse, who attains peace? One who offers the result of all activities to Krishna. And then who becomes entangled into the results is one who is greedy for the fruits of the labor. So we have to understand the difference between both of them, a Krishna conscious person and a bodily conscious person. So what is Krishna trying to explain, Arjuna? That you do not need to be bodily conscious. You do not need to be attached to the results. You do not need to be entangled into the profit of the calculations of what activities you are doing. But rather, you get into your karma yoga, which is attached to the Lord. The work, it will be work for Krishna, and that will give you path of liberation. There will be no anxiety for the results. Whatever I do, it is Krishna's work. There is no duality. It is filled with peace. No existence beside Krishna. So this is what a Krishna conscious person will achieve by attaining to the process of karma yoga at this point. Then also it is explained that how we are in the city of 9 gates. Yeah. The Navadvari, that is the 9 gates, the Supreme Personality of God who is living within the body of a living entity, as we explained, the 2 birds which are sitting on the same branch, right, is the controller of all living entities all over the universe. The body consists of 9 gates, that is 2 eyes, 2 nostrils, 2 ears, 1 mouth, the anus and the genitals. The living entity in his conditioned stage identifies himself with the body. But when he identifies himself with the Lord within himself, he becomes just as free as the Lord, even while in the body. This is what stage we have to move ahead to. Like, though we know that we are a different body, but once we understand that the Lord is sitting within our heart as the super soul, and if we identify him, only then we will be set free from this material bondage. Now, so, and what is the cause of suffering? That we are not still identifying ourselves with the Lord. We are not still allowing ourselves to have the existence of the Lord. And that is the cause of our suffering. So how to correct it? So to correct it, if one takes to Krishna consciousness, he can revive his real position. One becomes aloof from bodily activities. Thus, in controlled life, the soul lives happily in the city of 9 gates. So that is possible only if we identify the Lord and his existence. Now, as we move ahead, it is that the superior energy and the inferior energy of the Lord in the 7th chapter it will be more explained, but it is just a glimpse of what is mentioned in the 14th and the 15th verses, that the matter is the inferior energy of the Lord. And why does the matter and the living entity is the superior nature? So what happens is that the living entity is in contact with the material nature, and that is the reason it can get some contamination from the material modes of nature. According to the modes of nature, a person, like as we know that the person can get affected by his thoughts or by his deeds, and according to what he wishes, they can further lead to different actions. So causes of the bodily suffering, and that is also causes of the bodily suffering and the distress that we go through. So one has to become aloof from the activities of the body. Only then will he become free from the reactions. We are in the midst of the material struggling for existence. And so what is the solution to it? We have to get simple it is. We have to get out of this ocean and get into the transcendental service of the Lord. So Lord over here is mentioned as the Vibhu, and the living entity is mentioned as the Anu, that is the atom. So Lord as the Paramatma, as the super soul, he fulfills the same this mention over here. He fulfills the desires. The analogy which is given is just like how the cloud which is in the sky, the clouds are driven by the air. So the Lord engages the living entity in pious activities, and then he can be elevated. And if the Lord engages and if we are engaged into the impious activities, then surely we will not move to the upper platform, rather we'll go to the lower planetary systems, and again the birth cycle will continue. The Lord neither hates nor likes anyone. Though he in the Vedanta Sutra it is explained that the Lord does not have any preference over here. So it is that according to our deeds that we are going to incur the results. So the example over here it is given is the sun lights up everything in the daytime. So 7th chapter, okay. So just like that, the Krishna consciousness is like the sunlight which will drive away any ignorance which is left. Just as we say that Om Ajnana Timirandasya. So over here, how it is mentioned, Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai.
Hare Krishna. Is it for me only?
No, Mataji, even we can't
I
hear.
can't see
We
or
can't
hear
hear.
her.
Can't hear.
We can see but can't hear. I think it's got still.
Yeah. Yes. I was thinking it's only for me.
Mataji, you can send a message to Sitapriti Mataji.
Yeah, Mataji, definitely. Yeah, she's there. Yeah.
Our internet. Oh, I was not audible, Mataji.
Only just 2 minutes, Mataji, or 1 minute. That's it.
Oh, okay. Yeah. It's visible, right, Mataji? The slides are visible.
Yes,
Yes,
Mataji,
Mataji.
perfect. Continue.
Yeah. So we were at the analogy how the sun lights up everything in the daytime. So just like that, the Krishna consciousness is like the sunlight which is going to drive away any ignorance. And how do we get this Krishna consciousness? Or we are just not going to do it by ourselves, but it has to be with in the disciplic succession through a guru. Just like how we said the prayers like Om Ajnana Timirandasya. So the ignorance is going to go away only with the disciplic succession when you have the blessings of the guru. So the importance of guru is also mentioned over here. Like at night is darkness, we see everything one, but in the daylight the real identity is clear. So this is very, very important. And then so now and then when we move ahead, it is that how does a Krishna conscious person or a person in the a person in the how does he differentiate, or how does he behave? So it is like a learned sage, the sage who is what he will see is he will see equality or equanimity in everything. Like his this equanimity of mind means one has attained the stage where they have conquered material conditions, specifically birth and death. So the learned sage, he will see everyone the same. He will see a dog eater, he will see all the animals, the tree, everything. He will see the Lord's hand in everything. He will see the super soul, the Lord in everyone. And that is a platform wherein any discriminations or any sort of where you feel that I'm inferior, I'm superior, that everything vanishes away, and then you see everyone at a same platform. Like you do not feel, oh, this is a new devotee, this is an old devotee, or he is learned, he is rich, he is poor. So all these comparisons and everything will go away, and that is the stage of the Paratattva. That is, you have to rise to a platform where you see everything at the same level, and that is the self-realized. So these are the so in from the 5.20 and 21, they are mentioned the symptoms of a self-realized person. So I'll just read out what notes I had for it. Is the self-realized person, what are the symptoms? He knows of false identification of the body. He knows that there shouldn't be, that we shouldn't be identifying yourself with the body. He is not joyful of anything, or neither he is sad when he loses anything, because he knows that, and that I'm not the proprietor, nothing belongs to me. So that is the sthir buddhi which is mentioned. He knows that he is the fragmental portion of the Supreme Lord, and he is not this body. His mind is steady, that is sthir buddhi or self-intelligence. The steadiness of the steadiness of the body is sthir buddhi. He therefore knows the soul, the existence of the body, which is not permanent. He does not disregard the existence of the soul. So this is at the platform where a person is at the self-realization stage. Thus, because of this knowledge, it elevates him to the level of knowing the complete science of absolute truth, the difference between the Brahman, the Paramatma, and the Bhagwan. He knows his constitutional position. He does not falsely try to be one with the Supreme. That is, you are not trying to, because you have to understand that you are just qualitatively, you have the characteristics of the Lord, but quantitatively, you cannot ever be as the Lord. So, this realization is very important, which is one cause of these. Where we differentiate from the other people, wherein they feel that they are the Lord or they are one with the Lord, because they are they feel that they have the spark of the Lord, and they are also become the Lord. So that the self-realized person on the path of Krishna consciousness knows this. This realization is called as the Brahman realization or the self-realization. Now, how does he behave? What is the behavior of a liberated person? He is not attracted to material sense pleasures, or he's always in trance and enjoying pleasures within. So, though he is like liberated, though he is not attached to anything, still he is very happy person, or he is very joyful. And just like, what is example is given is like how a toy which is given to a child will be so happy with it, right? He will, while sleeping, while eating, everywhere he'll carry the toy with you. Imagine now that same toy, if you give to a elderly person or a person outgrown that child age, and that same toy, okay, one day he might look at it and then he might just keep it away. The toy will no longer satisfy him anymore. So that is what happens with a liberated person, that he knows that this all desires, everything are there for temporary, and the soul which is there with him is his permanent identity. So he does not identify himself with anything, that this is my house, this is my place, or anything of that sort. So a Krishna conscious person is not attracted to any kind of sense pleasures due to him being a liberated soul. If body is temporary, what pleasures can material sense desire he derive from? Like, that's just like the example is given, that when you sit in a train and you want the seat which is there, you are like, you are sitting in a train and you're attached to one seat. Oh, I should get that seat. But then you know that this train journey is going to finish in some time. You are not going to sit in that train for all over your lifetime, or you're not going to be in that place every time. So it is just for maybe 10 minutes or 15 minutes you're there. And for 10-15 minutes, you cannot sit and quarrel with someone. So if any person understands that, then they will just let go. Another person who are fools, who will not understand and who will identify themselves with that place, will sit and crib. Why yesterday you sat over there, let me sit today. So a self-realized person, how does he behave? He does not know, nothing in this world matters to him. So a liberated soul is not interested in anything that is temporary. So the Supreme Personality of Godhead is also known as Rama. That is, he's self-satisfied, like he has everything and he's very, very joyful, or he's in a total bliss. And that place, when we came into Krishna consciousness, like the main thing which we saw, the main thing which I always see is that whenever you go to the temple, everybody has a smile on their face. Everybody is very, very happy. And that is the beauty of Krishna consciousness. That when we come back from the temple, you have your own what you say many things which are going on which make you sad. But when you go to the temple, at that point you leave everything and it's only the Lord and you, and there's a natural smile. You go to the temple, any of these temples, and you'll see that is when we are like, at least myself, when I'm trying to be more Krishna conscious. Again, coming back, we come back to the material world, but then that is one point where that blissful nature of a devotee is emphasized. The more one is addicted to material pleasures, the more he is entrapped by the material miseries. And that is the reason only fixing our mind and intelligence in the Supreme Lord, that is, will attain Gachanti, that is liberation. The Lord as Paramatma is present in equal vision, we have talked about. Okay. Yeah. Because I've taken notes from 2-3 things I've mentioned everywhere. I'm just seeing that I do not mess up anything. Yeah. Yeah. So now again, so then when we talk about this, the behavior of a liberated person, then about the sense enjoyment and the detachment is mentioned, right? So detachment from external or material pleasures and attachment to the Lord. So why sense enjoyment, when we are saying, is detrimental to your spiritual life? It is yeah, because material nature, you have to understand that this material nature is temporary, while the bhakti process, or the process in your devotional service, is going to be a positive engagement. While in the material world, whatever you're doing, it is going to be temporary, and engaging your all senses is only possible when you are in bhakti yoga. And so now we have got bhakti yoga. We know that the Lord has told Arjuna that this is the process. Then how can you steadily progress in this process of your self-realization? So one must try to control the forces of the material senses. So one who is able to control the forces of all these different senses and mind, and he can control the material temptations and the distractions, that is the tolerance of all the things which are going on. If somebody is insulting you, like, you just do not like, if we identify ourselves to the body, then you can say that, oh, you know what, this person spoke to me in such a harsh way, this person spoke to me. But like, if you just leave it away, you just leave it to that own karma, then things do not matter you a lot. This is very easy to say than done. So then, so the tolerance is the key for ourselves to remain steady in the process of self-realization. Because, at that point also we can fall back, or that point also we can come back if we give in to the material temptations. So why should material desires be controlled? Now, if the material desires are not controlled, so in the 23rd verse, it is mentioned that how, I'll just read the. Yeah, a person who neither rejoices upon achieving something pleasant nor laments upon obtaining something unpleasant, who is self-intelligent, who is unbewildered, and who knows the science of God, is already situated in transcendence. Such a liberated person is not attracted to material sense pleasures, but is always in trance, enjoying the pleasure within. In this way, the self-realized person enjoys unlimited happiness, for he concentrates on the Supreme. For the 23rd verse, before giving up his present body, if one is able to tolerate the urges of the material senses, and check the force of desire and anger, he will be situated well and happy in this world. So this is about the tolerance which is explained. That is, one has to rise beyond the dualities, and then, like, you have to find the happiness within, and not find the happiness, the reasons for happiness outside. Because what happens is, your your anger is going to relate to the frustration, and then the anger will lead to the further, that once your desires are not that is the reason if you come to know about the toleration of the urges, only then it is possible for ourselves to stay steady on the path of devotion. You're able to hear me, Mataji? Haribol?
Yes, Mataji. Yes,
Yes, Mataji.
Yes, we can hear.
Yeah, because I got a message over here that your connection is unstable. Okay. So then, because your desires are going to be unlimited, you will always, because we are in the material world, we are looking at the sense objects, sense things around us. So your desires are going to be always at the very higher end. Maybe we'll be desiring each and everything. So those temptations have to be tolerated, and then only then we can reach to a stage where the material sense enjoyment will no matter affect us, and we will not be under their control. Rather, we are able to control them. So, because what is in one of the lectures, it is explained that sense pleasures are there in dogs, cats, animals also, they have sense pleasures. So, what is the main difference between a human and as you have got a human life, what is the difference between the cat and dogs and you? So, this is that the cat and dogs, they are going to succumb to their desires. But as a human birth, as a birth which we have got, it is that it has a specific purpose, it has a specific reason, and that is that you have to move ahead in the path of self-realization and do at a point where you're going back to the Lord's abode. And for that, these are just the steps. The full process is a bit long, wherein you have to really work hard. At least I need to really work hard to reach the lotus feet of the Lord. Yeah, so the wise person will not enjoy or will not find pleasure in the material pleasures. Rather, he will try to control these urges and try to deviate within the service of the Lord. So one who relishes happiness in within is who is a perfect yogi or a perfect mystic is one who can sit silently from one place and enjoy happiness from within. External material happiness does not bother him, which is called as the Brahma Bhuta stage, by which one is assured of going back to Godhead. Sense enjoyment, yeah. Yeah, fact is that. Yeah. So the factual experience. 23. Yeah. Yeah. If one wants to make steady progress on the path of self-realization, he must try to control the forces of material senses. As we come to the process over here, like who attains liberation and what are the requirements? Like the further last verses are that how can we achieve liberation and what are the prerequisite? Like everything when we have it is a prerequisite. If you have these qualities, only then you can get this. Or if you have these, like if you go for a job, if you fit into this criteria, only then you can get that job, right? So then what are the requirements? Like a Krishna conscious person, he engages himself into the welfare work. Okay, now this welfare work is explained into the 25th verse. Now what happens is many a time we see, oh, that this person has donated so and so things, or this person has done so much and so much of has given so much of money to this institute, that institute. We see so many welfare work which is going on. I'll just read the translation. Those who are beyond the dualities that arise from the doubts, though whose minds are engaged within, who are always busy working for the welfare of all living beings, and who are free from all sins, achieve liberation in the Supreme. So now, why does yeah? So then it is mentioned about the welfare activity or welfare work done. Now, what is the stage? Like why are we suffering in this material world? Is because there is forgetfulness of Krishna. Now, as we say, like if you meet, like if anybody comes at my doorstep, instead of giving them money, always give them prasadam. So this remembrance of Krishna, or like giving the mercy of the Lord to someone through prasadam or through something which is offered to the Lord is very important. So you can see that the politicians and everyone, they try to do so many welfare activities, and at the end what will they do? They will take a photo with that person and put it on Facebook, put it on some of their social sites. So that is not any work which is done in devotion. That is a work done for the welfare of yourself. You are trying to propagate yourself. So that has to be stopped. So like forgetful of Krishna is the cause of suffering. So whatever work you're doing, welfare work has to be is important, but if it is through, like if you want to feed people, feed people.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, she stopped at feed people.
Maybe she'll come back, Mataji. I will see texting her. Mataji, unmute yourself here. That's fine, Mataji. You can continue here if it is having any issue.
Yeah. I was sitting up now, so I think that internet got disrupted because of that. One second, I'll just share screen. Sorry, Mataji. Yes. Yeah, so we were at the point wherein we say that, like, the welfare work which is done by the politician, the welfare work which is done, as we said, that if we have something to do, we can always do it through the process of Krishna consciousness. Like we were giving example of different food for life programs which are going around, right? So in that, like, there is no agenda to be fulfilled. It is just done as a devotional service. So in the verse 25, the welfare activity which is mentioned, it is that if we keep Krishna in the center and act, then act to receive this consciousness within every human society is the highest welfare. And by that way, you can always remember the Lord in different ways. And this is what is the Karma Yoga, which is mentioned. Then, as we mentioned, that the Krishna consciousness helps in uprooting the deep growth.
She never have this problem for kids class. I don't know what happened today.
Maybe because it's night for her and day for us. Maybe this time it's quite busy in their house or something.
Yeah, and she's sitting in a different place than the usual place that she sit and give the class. Internet sometimes the place changes, internet goes bad.
Yeah, actually the class was going so well.
Yeah.
तीनदा झालं असं. बाबा. I'm so
Continue.
sorry, Mat. I'm so sorry. Okay. Yeah. So as we are at the end also, Matthew. Okay. Yeah. So those, yeah. So so we are talking about the part, like how to achieve the liberation state and what are the requirements for it. So it is mentioned that those who are free from anger and all material desires, who are self-realized, self-disciplined, and constantly endeavoring for perfection, are assured of liberation in the Supreme in the very near future. Like there was one Mataji who was, when we talk about liberation, that example comes, like that Mataji, she was worshipping Lord Narsimha. And she was she like this is there in one of the, I think I had read it somewhere on one of the devotional sites only of ISKCON. And then she had one, like she had the darshan of the Lord, and then she asked the Lord that when will I be going back to Godhead, when I come near to you, when will I go back? And then the Lord had said that another 100 years and then you'll be coming back. So just imagine a person who has been like devoted their life so much to the Lord. Still, due to our past karmas, we have to still you have to get rid of all the karmas and then go. So why not start so early? So that is what, like, one has to be free from anger and all material desires. Though like one or two desires we can total, but all the material desires still we surrender all those material desires. It is still a long way, and for that yourself you have to be self realized. First we have to understand what our desires are and what we are giving into. So instead of giving in those desires, we have to lord those desires, and we have to go ahead of those desires, and only then we can go to the we are assured of liberation. That's explained in the 26th verse. So just like Krishna, the explanation it is given is very nice over here. I think I should just read that part. By vision, by meditation, and by touch, only do the fish, the tortoise, and the birds maintain their offsprings. Similarly, do I also, O Padmaja. The fish brings up its offspring simply by looking at them. The tortoise brings up its offspring simply by meditation. The eggs of the tortoise are laid on the land, and the tortoise meditates on the egg while in the water. Similarly, the devotee in Krishna consciousness, although far away from the Lord's abode, can elevate himself to that abode simply by thinking of him constantly, by engagement in Krishna consciousness. He does not feel the pangs of material miseries. That state of life is called as Brahma Nirvana, or the absence of material desires, due to being constantly immersed in the Supreme. There are so many cases, so many instances where we have seen that people have gone through so many bodily discomforts, but yet they take it as just as the mercy of the Lord, and then they move ahead. There are so many examples we have seen in devotees also. So this is very important, like the meditating on the Lord, and that will help us. Like many of them, like how Dhruv Maharaj, the example of Dhruv Maharaj is also quoted in one of the classes. Like how Dhruv Maharaj, when he got the darshan of the Lord, he says, like I had the pleasure of meeting the Lord. The Lord was in front of me. I had the diamond, and I was looking out for the pieces of broken glass. So that is our case. So we have the super soul sitting right within us, but yet we are moving all around, moving everywhere, each and every corner, and still we are unhappy with it. And so this is the stage where we have to reach that stage and move ahead in our practices of Krishna consciousness. Shutting out all external sense objects, keeping the eyes and vision concentrated between the two eyebrows. So now in the 27th and the 28th verses, it is mentioned about the Ashtanga Yoga, that how by the process of Ashtanga Yoga, also you can, that is also one path how you can reach to the further process of your steadiness in your bhakti. And then through that, though that is not the end, but that will lead you to the further process. Then the formula for peace is also mentioned. One second. Yeah. So once we are into this process, then how can you find, that steadiness in your bhakti, and then slow and steadily how you can move ahead on the graph of your bhakti yoga. All conditioned souls are anxious to attain peace, but how do you attain it? Lord Krishna is the beneficiary in all human activities. Once like you have the answers also given in that same verse. Men should offer everything to transcendental service of the Lord. He is the proprietor of the planets and the demigods, and no one is greater than him. So this is all explained into the 29th verse, that how you can attain the Lord in a proper way by staying in that platform. You do not have to deviate from that platform. If these things are known, only then it is possible. One who is free can free another person. Yeah. So this example is the analogy is given is like, if we are tied in this material world. Okay. So we all are conditioned souls. Like how His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Maharaj says, we all are tied in this material world. So if I am tied, if everybody in my family is tied, how am I to remove their hands? How am I to free them? So then what it is mentioned, that a person who is free, a person who has free hands or free from any of the bondages, only they can free another person, right? So the same way the Lord is free, while we all are conditioned souls. And that is the reason we have to hang on to the Lord. And He is the one, or we have hang on to our spiritual masters who are free from any of the material bondages. And only they can free us from the clutches which we are entangled into. So one who is free can free another person. One who is tied up by strings cannot do anything. So the human being is tied by all the material nature, by the material rules, and that is the reason we have to hold on to the lotus feet of the Lord. The Lord is the master of material nature, and the conditioned souls are under him. So if these facts are clear, only then one can attain peace. Otherwise, what happens? Normally we do not want to give credit to the Lord. Whatever is done by me, I have done it. So if we start giving credit to the Lord, only then this is going to lead us to perfect peace. That is, Krishna is the supreme. He is predominant in all the living entities, and like we, the demigods and the gods are all just the subordinates who are helping in that process. So that is the process how we can move ahead. So in just a glimpse, like a summary which I've written, I'm sorry, I'm going ahead another 5 minutes, Mataji, please. So practical explanation of Krishna consciousness is known as the Karma Yoga. Answer to the questions of mental speculations, how a Karma Yogi can go on the path of liberation is mentioned in this 5th chapter. Krishna consciousness is to work with complete knowledge of the Lord as the predominator. Then the Jnana Yoga path will lead you to Bhakti Yoga, and the Bhakti Yoga is the direct Krishna consciousness. Pure soul is eternal servant of the Lord, and his fragment, and we are fragments and part and parcels of the Lord. The desire of the Lord, soul comes in contact with Maya, and that causes our suffering. So we have to be cautious of that. And Krishna consciousness brings anyone into spiritual life. And Lord is not partial to anyone. This is the main glimpse of the chapter, that the Lord is not doing anything. Whatever is there due to our karmas, and we have to purify ourselves so as to go to the pure platform, and then rise to the process of Bhakti Yoga, as will be directed in the further chapters. So I'll just stop sharing over here once again. I hope I've completed all the slides. Just go through it. Yeah, we do not have to blame God for the actions. It is all our actions in the past by which we are. The life lesson is that the more one is addicted to material pleasure, the more he is entrapped by material miseries. So we have to always go to the higher taste. Yeah, stay in this world. We are not the doer, the three doer, the soul, Paramatma, and the super soul, and equanimity with everyone. And that is the way how we can attain peace. Thank you.
Hey,
Very nice class, Mataji. At last, you are showing the picture of prasadam for the taste. I was like, wow, what a wonderful thali it is.
You always make, Mataji, your thali is always filled like that.
No, Mataji, I'm just trying. All Bhakti Sangha Matajis are my inspiration. Thank you so much, Mataji. Very nice class from the starting till end. It was very nice, very wonderfully explained, Mataji, with all the shlokas, with the quotes, and with your notes, everything. It was very fine, Mataji. Thank you so much. I think behind you, one special guest is there.
Behind me? You saw the cat?
Some special, yeah. Some special guest is going around you.
This is my cat.
That's very.
I thought you had many.
Yeah, 2 cats. They are siblings.
Yeah.
They are like,
I think.
Yeah, they were taken into shelter. Like they had come to a shelter, so we had to take them. And then for the second thing, a dog came to a shelter who in the rains, he came and sat down in our porch. So he was hardly 15 to 20 days. And we tried to give him away, but he again came back. So then we decided that maybe he needs prasadam.
I was thinking that in mind. Maybe the condition of the cat must have been changed since the time he has taken shelter at your place. Very good. Kirtida Mataji is there. Please go ahead, Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat
Hi
Pranam.
Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Just last week I was talking about you to Prithvilasini Mataji, that I haven't seen Mataji for a long time.
Yeah, Mataji, I was in
Welcome back, Kirti.
Welcome back, Mataji.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, Mataji, thank you for the very nice class. Very nicely you summarized the entire chapter. After hearing, I was realizing the more we hear Bhagavad Gita, the more we realize that I have not even touched Bhagavad Gita.
Every
So,
time it is some new, like though I read some other
yeah.
book, again when I came back, I thought, oh, I never read this. Again, jot that down.
So much nectar is there. And I was just reflecting on one point, like when you were saying that if all our hands are tied or family members are tied, that who's going to free us? Right? So I was in Vrindavan, and in Vrindavan, the Vrajvasis moved it. Hamara lala bandha hua bhi hame khol sakta hai.
Right,
He
right.
was in the Damodar. He was tied up with the love of Mother Yashoda, but still he freed Nalakuvera and Manigriva.
I know,
The
yes.
Vrajvasis mood is so different. Hamara lala bandha hua bhi hame khol sakta hai.
True, true,
Right.
true.
So he doesn't need, like, not Krishna cannot always be free. He's always bound with the love of his devotees. So he can free anyone. Yeah. But thank you,
Yes,
Mataji. Thank you so much. It was very beautiful class. Nicely summarized. Thank you.
Thank you,
Hare
Mataji.
Krishna.
Please add on wherever you feel.
No,
Just trying
Mataji,
my
it
best.
was wonderful. Wonderful.
I was scared when I saw Mataji. Kirtida Sundari Mataji is also there.
Actually, she
Oh,
texted me, oh my God, Kirtida Mataji is on call. What am I going to do?
come on, Mataji, don't say that. After hearing your class, I was feeling I never read 5th chapter. It was so nice.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Kirtada Mataji. Priti Vilasini Mataji, no. Sorry, Vinita Gandhavika Mataji, please go ahead.
Okay, I will go first anyway, since you called me.
Okay,
Hare
go.
Krishna.
No worries.
Yeah, please, Mataji.
Hare Krishna,
Because
Sitapriti.
I don't know, the hand raise, it's going on and off.
Yeah, I know.
So
It was going on and off because I kept unmuting, right? So I thought I finished speaking and it put me down.
Okay, yeah, please,
twice.
please. Sorry.
No. I'm just playing with Vinita Mataji. Anyway, thank you, Sitapriti. Beautiful session, and you have an amazing flow. And I think you did your preparation was so thorough because, before giving the class also, Mataji rehearsed the entire class and she was so thorough. She was like, you know what? I have this from this material. I have that from that content. She put everything together and did so much hard work for this class. It was amazing presentation, Mataji, and so many life lessons and so many real life experiences and realizations. You thought about every single thing. You didn't leave a single stone unturned. Such a thorough job. Thank you, Mataji. Beautiful class. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji, for the slide, because then I was like, okay, I'll have to make slides, and then I was lost in that.
This was Indu slides, actually, right? 5th chapter was Indu or Kirtina? I don't remember.
Indu
Indu
Mataji.
Mataji.
Yeah, Indu Mataji.
Yeah.
Thank you, Indu Mataji.
Vinita Gandhavika Mataji.
Yeah. Hare Krishna, Sitapriti Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Thank you so much for the beautiful class. I know how much busy you are. You don't have time to even sleep properly, but still you made a very beautiful class, Mataji. Thank you so much for preparing so much hard work from different classes you have heard from many places, and you gave the nectar. Thank you, Mataji. If we want to read by ourselves, we just read and we will not understand, but you have heard from many places and gathered lot of notes and given us in simple format. Thank you so much, Mataji. Very grateful to you. Hare Krishna. And you taught us how to be always be in Krishna consciousness, keep the Krishna in the center, and do all our activities. No need to sacrifice anything, but keep Krishna in the center. You said in simple way with the different examples how Krishna is going to be always with us if we do this activity, and he's going to protect us. And also most important point is, like you said, to practice Krishna consciousness from the early age itself. Why to waste our time? We should not waste. We should not think that, okay, I have more time, maybe I'll take later Bhagavad Gita and read later. It doesn't work like that. We have to start it from early age. Thank you, Mataji. Very grateful to you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. You're a best example, Mataji, of doing multitasking and doing so many things. I really derive a lot of inspiration from you all.
Mataji, I
Glories to
should
Bhakti Sangha. Bhakti Sangha is giving
Mataji.
energy.
Yes, that's what I was about to say. Bhakti Sangha, Matajis are really all are so energetic. So
You should
the
make a cake
energy.
for Bhakti Sangha birthday.
You should only make
Sure,
Mataji. You are
I'll
the one
make
who is expert in making.
You should. You should make Mataji.
I'm
Not
not
me. I
Or
don't
we'll
know
ask
what to
Lakshmi Mataji to make.
Yeah. This cake Mataji is also there. Anita Mataji, orange cake, this cake, that cake, all cakes are there.
do. My children, something or the other, they will be asking Mataji, I should be doing.
Yes.
So, but I'm
Krishna
really thankful to all the Matajis over here. And yeah, so Bhakti Sangha, as Smita Mataji told, Bhakti Sangha is so energetic. Matajis are multi-talented and so energetic. And the energy is flowing so much. So that all we are getting so very nice speakers and nice listeners also. So very grateful to this Bhakti Sangha actually. And thank you so much, Preeti, Sitapriti Mataji. And Shuka Mataji is asking, what's the name of your cat?
The male cat is Cosmo, and the second one is Snow. Cosmo and
Cosmos.
Snow. Those are my Krishna, my son Krishna. In his room, under his table, the cat had kept the kittens. So then he named them Cosmo and Snow.
Okay. Very nice. And everyone is saying that the class was very nice and excellent class. Very nice. Very nice exercise. Mataji for kids. I don't know how.
No, I went upstairs. That is the reason I lost contact. Like I said, like if I'm down and my son, he might say that, did you really study? Or he'll say something. So I said, I'm going to sit up and give the class. That is the reason I lost the connection. If I was sitting over here, it would have been better.
No, I
Mataji,
was
always sit
saying,
in the same place where you are sitting. Sometimes
Yeah.
some apartments are very good. Wherever you go, it will come. But some apartments only if you are near the place where the internet is plugged in.
Right.
If you sit there only, it will come good. Like I have that issue. Sometimes if I go in the other rooms, it won't come from my
Yeah,
computer.
that happened today.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. So, any
Hare
devotees have
Krishna.
questions?
Hi, Lindaleka Mataji.
Hare
Oh, the
Krishna,
Husky voice
Sitapriti
Mataji is speaking.
Mataji.
I have named
Sweet voice,
Mataji.
her voice is so
Voice.
sweet.
Mataji, what a wonderful presentation. I'm always amazed by how you gather so much information from everywhere. You'll be like, okay, from this lecture, from that lecture, from this quote here, I found this there. It's just amazing how you can share and relate so many different classes to this one chapter. I mean, I see this in your presentations everywhere with the kids' classes also. So glad to have you back, Mataji, and in class. I'm seeing you after a long time in the adult classes. So very nice, very wonderful presentation, Mataji. I really loved it. Thank you so much, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji, for the slides. I asked Mataji at the end moment.
I really loved your practical examples, Mataji, the way you talk about how we should be in our real life, offer prasadam always, have it ready all the time. That's one problem in my house, but yeah.
Yeah, yesterday
thank
it happened, like a lady came in morning like around 10:30, 11, we have lunch. So then she came in and she asked for money. Then I said, like, I have food. I won't give you money. And then she sat down over there. She ate and she heard the smile on her face was like whatever was offered. Immediately that was mixed up with the prasadam and I gave her. And she sat down and she ate around 10:30. She ate her lunch. And like the blessings, like, okay, whatever came from her mouth was good. But the main thing, it was like giving her prasadam and like
She
immediately cooked
relished
the
it.
roti. Yeah, that was, I thought, like, that is Krishna's mercy that she really needed prasadam that day.
Beautiful.
Very nice.
In when we were in Dallas, like we had that thing, like we used to make more cookies, and at the signals, if there was someone homeless, if they were there, then we used to distribute. Like that was part of the Bhakti Vriksha which we were doing. So that reminds me, and over here also there are so many opportunities in India, right? We can do, because I don't encourage giving money to people. If they need, then with some other way we can help them prasadam, right? Because you never know what they do with the money, right?
Yes, Mataji. And we have to be very cautious. And like what you said, I mean, we don't want to accumulate further karma
Further karma.
by giving them. Yeah, Okay, Hari Bol. Thank you so much. I'm so happy. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Indileka Mataji. Any more realizations? Can end the call here. Let's see. Mataji, everyone is saying the class was very beautiful. So there are no raised hands or any chat messages. So we can end the call here, Mataji. Thank you, Sitapriti Mataji, for giving valuable time and association. A very nice class, Mataji. And please come in future also at this time or in the morning session also. We expect you to come and give classes so that I will also get an opportunity to host you. Thank you so much, Mataji, for once again for giving your valuable time and association. Let's pay our obeisances to Mataji. Vancha
Kalpatarubhascha kripasindhubhyavcha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha.
Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrindiki Jai.
Jai.
Jai. Her Grace
Sitapriti
Sitapriti
Mataji
Mataji
ki
ki
jai.
All
Jai.
Bhaktivinoda ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Mataji ki jai.
Hari
Thank
Bol.
you so much.
Thank you,
Hari Bol.
Sitapriti. Hari Bol.
Thank
I
you,
think
Mataji.
today both the speaker and the host are shining. You both are splendidly looking.
Mataji, mine is very dull light, Mataji. It's night over here. Too much
Even
dark.
Sitapriti, it's
Even
night.
Sitapriti, it's night. So both of you are shining in the night like moon.
Yeah, night. For us, it's day, it's sun now.
Yeah.
It's almost going to get bit 12 now. It'll be, yeah.
Hari Bol. Ending.